to accept with myself that ideas don't just rule the world, but really great and marketable and sellable ideas really rule the world. So we're talking about IT here and how you can take your business online. So I looked down inwards and I said to myself, what else can I do? You know, the business has started gradually, the food processing business has started gradually, but just let me take you 2 years backwards. 2 years backwards, I was somewhere in my house and I got a call from somebody, a friend. 3 years ago, I got a call from a friend and they said, Femi, I like the way you help people write things on Facebook and Twitter. How can I help? How can you have 15 followers in 30 minutes? Oh, what's happening? So it seems somebody somewhere likes what I'm doing. By the following morning, I had about 50 followers, and I called my brother and I said, look, I think we can make this happen. So I was talking with a friend somewhere, somehow, and then he heard somehow that we had, my brother attended OAU, and he said, yes, that my company is trying to manage the social media platform for the Nuga Games, and I think you guys can do it. He said, we don't really have all the experience. In fact, we just started doing some of these things like this. You know, so he told us to send in a proposal, and we sent in a proposal, and he said, we don't have money for you to make this happen. But I said, at the end of the day, we'll still do it. We eventually still did the job. We took up the social media outdoor work for the Nuga Games, and we did it well. How many of you followed the Nuga Games on social media? Yeah, you did. Okay, so we handled basically Twitter, and it worked out well. So one of the banks that came for the Nuga Games walked up to us and said, you guys, this is a fantastic job. Maybe you guys will do something else for us in Lagos. And we said, fine, we have an office on Okwebi, let's have a meeting. And we talked, and we did the first job, and it was a blowout. And he called us back to say, can we now talk business with you guys to see what you can do? A few months after, I did another job for another organization, and it became a huge success. And somebody in that organization, the bank actually, just dragged my hand that day. My brother was also around, and just dragged my hands and took us straight to the MD of the bank. And he said to him, these were the guys that made it happen for us on social media. And I was shocked, I was stone cold. And the MD of the bank called myself and my brother, quickly I told him, it's a picture. And I was super excited. Now, understand where I'm coming from, that it came from just an interest. It came from a skill that I thought maybe was there, maybe was not there, but I acted upon that thought pattern that I had and developed a product that could be sold. So the moment that happened, we sat back, we now said to ourselves, okay, remember, at this point in time, we had not even registered the business at all. So they were just paying us cash. We now sat down and said, you know what, let's go and register the proper business name, blah, blah, blah. Let's do all the documentation that we need to do so that we can become proper merchants with any companies that we're servicing. You know, today we're servicing brands, and it amazes me how much people need to sell their products online. And I'm saying to you that if your product is not on the internet in the 21st century, then you have not started doing business, right? Because the future of work is going on the internet. And I said to myself, this is my cash cow. You know what? After I retire from everything I'm doing, I'm just going to focus on ICT for the rest of my life. And the full thing I want to do, I think that's enough for me for the rest of my life. I'll do many other things. I'll start up many other businesses, but I'm just going to focus on this because I've gotten to realize that people will keep on eating food till they die, right? And most likely the internet is going to be there forever, right? You don't believe the internet is going to be there. Okay, so maybe newer technology will come someday, but I still think somehow it's going to be connected with the internet. You know, so one day I was trying to visit a friend, and he said to me, you can never get my house address. that you know my house in those places in Lagos, turn left, turn right, you know those yan or something. And I said to me, send me the address. And he didn't believe because he just knew that their house was just so far away from everybody's reach. He said, send me the address. So he sent me the address and I quickly searched on Google, and Google brought out the map location to his house. So I plugged it into GPS and I drove all the way to his house. I called it when I was in front of the gate to say, boss, I'm in front of your house. And he screamed, how? And I said, Google Maps. You know, so the world is changing and things are really going really fast. So you need to start thinking and asking yourself, if your business is not yet marketable on the internet, maybe you have not started. Have you guys heard about a lady called Omalata? Anybody? Okay, so what do you do on Google? What do you do on Facebook and Twitter? I advise you, please stay away from Instagram. I started using Instagram recently and it takes a lot of time. I'm a social media geek, but I know I have maybe 20 pictures right now on Instagram, and there's something that always makes me want to post a new picture on Instagram. I have loads of pictures on my devices and I don't even want to go there. So please ensure that you use the internet to do a lot of research. Find out about people who are already doing what you are doing. There's a lady called Omalata. Omalata sells pepper, just like the name goes, Omalata. But she has branded the name Omalata, and all you have to do is tweet at her and say, I want 500 naira tomato, I want 20 naira this, I want 100 naira rodo, and she delivers to your house. She asks you, do you want it blended? How do you want it? And that is what she does in Lagos. She's making big time sales right now from doing that. This is the kind of advantage that the guys in China have over us. You know, you guys may laugh and mock Chinese products, but the truth is we are not even doing anything. These guys create products that can be sold anywhere in the world. So I read about a guy in China who developed a toy, a particular toy that can move. You just wind it and it keeps on jumping all over. And you know, kids love things. They see things jumping all over. They love colorful things. So he made these products that keeps jumping all around, and it just has tiny springs and rubbers all around it. You wind it a bit, it keeps bouncing all around. The guy put it on Alibaba, and in 24 hours he got maybe like 100 orders. He had just developed one prototype. He had to email them and say, you know what, right now we don't yet have the capacity to produce 20. Maybe we can produce 2, or we can produce 3. He produced 2. Produced a third one, put it fourth one, and shipped to them. They loved it. Somebody somewhere in the US saw his products and said, we're coming to China to see you. They invested about $20 million into his business that day, and that was a turnaround for his life. You know, so what is that product that you can display on the internet? What is that product that you can take advantage of it? Remember, they used to tell us some years ago that there were 4 people away from anybody in the world. Remember? They once told me that if you never heard that, it was true then, but it's no longer true. Right now, I have a quote that says that you are just the only person between you and whoever you want to reach is yourself. Because you're just a tweet away from anybody in the world, right? So you can tweet at Barack Obama, and if he likes, he will tweet back at you. True or false? True. You can tweet at anybody in the world. So recently, I'm sure you guys heard about the story of how BlackBerry was trying to get an endorsement. In fact, they had signed up Alicia Keys to do endorsement for BlackBerry. While BlackBerry was trying to come back to life, they had died and they had just released the OS 10, the BlackBerry 10 version. And they said, let's go to Alicia Keys. Maybe, you know, Alicia Keys and Aswag, maybe she can help us just say a few things with her followership on the internet. So they signed up a $20 million endorsement deal, just for her to keep tweeting once a week to say, I love my BlackBerry. I feel that happens to you all. You know, so they signed up the endorsement deal with her, and unfortunately for her, she tweeted, I love my BlackBerry from my iPhone. And for Twitter users, you understand how Twitter works. Twitter will always write, send from my BlackBerry device. You know, anyway. So with that, they just wrote, sent from my iPad, an iPhone device. And BlackBerry just called her in that day. And you know what? It was one of those Twitter parrots somewhere. They just retweeted. They called her up and said, you know what? That's it. We're ending this deal. That lets you know that you must be careful with what you say on Twitter, right? So if you're releasing a product on Twitter or on any other platform or wherever, once it goes online, you must be careful because it's maybe a bit difficult. In fact, what they do now is you can delete your tweet, right? But some people just munch it, and that's it. So Alicia Keys tried to delete it, but it was too late. People had retweeted, they had like over 60,000 retweets, and that was the end of that. So you must be careful what you push outside. Recently, I had a training, customer service training for one of these new emerging banks. They're not new, they're one of the old banks that are trying to come back to life. And so they were asking us if we could help to do one or two things with the brand. So we're having a customer service session, and I said to them, do you know what the perception of people about your bank is? And they said, yes, we're a big bank, a strong bank, we're this, we're that. And I said, let's go to report.com.ng. Has anybody heard about that website? What do you guys do on Twitter and Facebook? Okay, skip. So report.com.ng is just like a platform like Nairaland. And if they ever talk bad about your product anywhere, and it goes on Nairaland, just know that your product is ready to get out of the market. If they keep on talking about it. So these guys, somebody somehow, we went live, just training session, and we went live on report.com.ng, and we just searched for their bank. And it was amazing how people were saying terrible things. In fact, there was one that just happened. I was sharing with Emmanuel just yesterday. There was one that happened that was so bad that I said, look, if you don't deal with this issue right now, something bad is going to happen. Unfortunately for us, one of the top officials of HR was in that training. And she just said, I'm going to take it on front. They were able to call the customer, to talk to the customer, and I said, you must visit the customer. Because in our age and time, anything can happen just from Twitter, just from Facebook. So if people don't like your product and they all decide to say, we don't like the jacket that you are wearing, whoever made that jacket is out of business. Do you agree with me? You don't yet agree with me. I will just give you another maybe 2 to 3 years. You will get to understand what I'm saying. And that's why, if anything will happen in our generation and time, including the revolution, which we pray shouldn't happen, everything will start on Twitter and Facebook. Because if people can come together to say, we're going to make it happen, that is it, So we need to get to the level where we can build global businesses like Jack Ma from scratch. He built his business from scratch. And this little statistic says that in China there are 42 million SMEs. In Europe there are 23 million SMEs. In the US there are 22 million SMEs. And it is amazing how these SMEs drive the economy. So we must get to the extent where our businesses are driving the economy. Trends are changing and businesses are going in. I say here, don't be left out. So I'm developing the products, or I have developed the products, and don't worry. Sometimes when I develop products, I quickly go to trademark it so no other person can do it. And I really want to talk about that briefly. You need to learn how to trademark your ideas and your products. You might want to see a lawyer who can advise you on how to trademark. You can trademark an idea, right? How many of us know Tetra Pak? Now, Tetra Pak was really smart. They came into Nigeria and they quickly trademarked a concept. And the concept is that only them will be able to make the paper packs that all these juice companies make. So right now, no other company can try. I didn't say can or will. No other company can try to make any juice with paper pack, anything in paper pack that has that shape. So they have trademarked all sorts of sizes, mini, large, and it's very sad because they did it and did it so well. So learn to trademark your idea. So I'm creating a platform called the 360 Innovator, and here I'm trying to talk about the fact that you need to push, why you need to push your businesses online, and why the set of people who will do these things will dominate the economy in 3 years to come. I said here that 75% of jobs available today will be fully automated in 10 years, and it's already happening. please, when I wrote this thing, I'm sure that was like 2 years ago, it's already happening. Things are changing, and South Africa just passed a law now that says that machines can now replace humans in filling stations. Europe and America have done it already. You know, you do it yourself. You go to buy fuel from a filling station or a gas station, and you do it yourself. You just pay with your ATM, and that's it. It's happened in South Africa. I'm very sure. I'm sure in Buhari's time, it's going to happen because there's some young guys that he's bringing into his system that hopefully will implement sort of things. So you must be thinking quickly about how you can make money from your room, right? On the